again, being a little sporadic here, doing a few other things. These are the two seals that you need that go, which I'll show you here, that go around like where the door is on the actual physical body. So this is, they call it I think this is the right-hand side, what they call this here, but whatever. That's the right-hand side, and that's the left-hand side. As you can see, it's just one number off. It's a 2 instead of a 1. So it's this seal right here. This one right here, okay? And I'm also putting these in. So these are just like little stickers. I think I showed you before in the video. It is these right here. I got a bunch of these because they go all over the car. I guess to keep moisture and some stuff out, but just like a little texturized little sticker. A little weird, but hey, works. So it's pretty cool. And then I am putting these back on. I just cleaned them up really, really good. I don't think you can buy these more. And the carbon fiber ones are cool and all, but these actually protect it a little bit better. The part number Ryan, way to go. I messed it up. Just show it there. Yes, there's the part number right there. So you can see that 67 number. I believe that's it. Yep, that's 67921-32010. And you need a total 5 of those for each. And you pop in, that's what clicks and holds it in. Oh, okay. I just put the airbag in. Just a reminder, guys, there's 2 10s and then 2 12s. So 12 and 12. And there's a 10 up here and a 10 up here. You need to put all your vent stuff back in. This one that's over tucked up in there, you need to put that on with the dash. So friendly reminder, because I messed that up. This goes on after the fact. And then you might need to remember to put the screw in. Now I need to put the glove box back in. You'll need to plug this in so it has a little light in there. And then these are what I had. So it's these 4 bolts then and screws. And I still have extras of these. I'm just not sure where they go. So I got to find all that for the dash, along with a few other things, which I think I know where they go. So yeah, but I am making good progress. I'm pretty happy, to be honest. I just got to keep moving here. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted as I go along. All right, just got my Targa top back. I put 2 brand new moving blankets, and then underneath that, I've got those really thick ply microfibers. There's never a good way to do this. I hate doing this because you have to take a paint apart, flip it over, and just don't like putting any pressure on it. But here's new seals. I just did this on the auto car too. So here is all of them. Here's the hard molding. So there is one side. I'm not sure which side is which, so sorry. But there's the other one. And then here is the rubber moldings, which you'll need both of those also, which is here and here. I need to put the hard moldings on first. I gotta look up which side goes where. I think it should be pretty self-explanatory, but need to make sure. I forgot to take these off and he painted with them on. It's not the end of the world, but I was like, oops, that was a boo-boo on my mistake. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there anything else. So went ahead and started putting that latch back in, and I've got all the screws I saved when I took out the last seal. So I think I'm good. Just need to start putting it together. All right, so this one here, this part number here is for the passenger side, just an FYI. So that's the partner for the hard piece that goes on the outside. And then this one here, I just put it on, so that is for the driver's side. So just put the passenger on. It just has those 4 little screws there that you need to put on. And then I need the other side. Then after that, you can put on the soft seal, and then there's 2 more screws on each end that has like a metal piece inside the soft rubber to help it keep stay against the metal. So yeah, and then that's it then it's done. So yeah, and also on these, there are 3 of the holes are slotted. So 3 of the holes are slotted. And then 1 is a centering hole. So use that centering hole to make sure everything lines up. And then you can tighten the other 3 holes down. So just want to let you know about the holes on the Targa top. Sorry guys, this is jumping around a lot just because I'm a bit busy. So I've got the roof done now. I just had it on the car sitting on there. One thing I need to find, because I removed this years ago, was the seal that goes here that has the stupid little flappy things on it, because it actually pushes this down and seats this. But I always take it off because it makes wind noise when you do have the roof off. But I think it's in the basement somewhere. If not, I'm gonna have to buy it from somebody. The other thing that kind of bothers me is I had to put these old, these back on, which kind of bugs me because it just isn't perfect. Probably should have had them taken off and just scuffed them and painted them at least, but it is what it is. You know, it's not the end of the world. One thing I'm doing, I just put the vent back in here, and I'm making sure I have enough room here, make sure I have enough room for your OBD1 port. This vent here needs to go up in first, and then it does bolt from back behind there. There's one little screw that holds it on, and that just slides in that hole over there. And this is your crotch breather or crotch cooler. I feel like every car needs to have that. I don't know why they did away with that. That was like one of my favorite things on the older cars. One thing I'm trying to make sure of too, I need to make sure that green plug there and then the big power wires need to come over into the steering controller, which I'm going to mount on top of the radio. I'm just trying to find room, and that plug I wish was like 6 inches longer. I may have to cut the wires and extend it, unfortunately. It's just not reaching over, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. I had made this way too long back in the day. You see I had doubled up the wire. It doesn't hurt anything, worked fine, but it's like if I have the time, now is the time to do it. So it reaches over there. I don't have all this excess and look goofy. Another thing I'm doing, I had this panel powder coated that goes right here. Okay, it goes like this. It's just, again, raw steel, and it starts to rust. So I had painted it, so it was flaking off. So I was like, hey, let's get that powder coated too, just so it doesn't flake down onto all the plastics. Like I said, it just goes up under there. I think it sits, one of these, I think it might be backwards, actually. I think it sits like this, maybe. Yes, because this like hooks, hold on here. This hooks up into here or something, I think. Yeah, hold on, like that. Yes, it sits like this. So there's like a little hook there, and yeah, that's all it holds it on. And then it takes 2 bolts, which the OEM bolts are a little stripped, so I don't really like using stainless inside, but I didn't have any yellow zinc bolts, so that the threads look perfect, so I'm gonna reuse these and go from there. So, all right, let's get this on, and then I can put the plastic cover on it. So making decent progress here. E-brake is on. Going through the wiring part, just put the clamshell on. Remember guys, there's a total of 5 screws/bolts. So these 3 are screws that go into plastic. Oops, right here. 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. These 2 here on the side are actual little metal screws that go into a metal retainer in here. So you can tighten those down hard. Do not crank on these. They're just going into the plastic body on top, and you'll strip them out. So as soon as it feels snug, you're done. That's it. No more than that. That's all you need. Just put on this plastic piece down below. You got your bolt here and here, and then you have your metal one that's behind it there. It's like acts as a retainer. I'm trying to make sure I've got every bit of wiring going the right way, because the next thing I'm going to do is put my cluster back in, which just takes these 3 here. I'm still debating about going to a digital dash. Carrie had actually made these. Are they over here? So this makes it pretty easy when you want to go to a digital dash. So he made these 3D printed pieces with the flying leads off of it. Now you don't need, 60% of these wires because it's just factory stuff. But you need it so you can do turn signals. But this way you don't have to cut into your harness now. So this plugs right into those ones there. And now this lets you, for a digital dash, you can just splice in these wires. And if you ever want to switch back, it's really easy. So you're not cutting up your harness, which I do like that. Downside is you are adding a failure point. If you really think about it, you're going to have to cut in the harness anyway. So you already added that failure point. So I think this is pretty cool. I'll link his stuff down below. I'm not sure how many he has in stock, because he just started doing this. But yeah, thought that was pretty neat. Again, going to put the factory dash in for now. It's just 4 screws that hold this in. This has that JP LED setup in it. So TRD tack, whole way around. Thought this is pretty cool. And the lights on this are like a true, like, brilliant white that you can dim with a remote or with the knob itself. I love Stu Hagen stuff, and I've seen a bunch of them, but for some reason, maybe the newer stuff doesn't. But it always has like a bluish purple hue to it. I don't know why, but these don't. These have their own board in the back, so they're not like, it's retrofitted, but not like it's its own LED board. It's a bit of a PETA to put it all together. You got to really play around with getting the tack needle and the speedo to work, but once you're done, it works pretty freaking well. All right, next up is the carpet. I had bought this like a year and a half ago. I don't know if you can still get this or not. But there is the part number. So I bought brand new carpet because the last one was okay. It just had, I'd cut it for a Doluck crossbar, and it had some cigarette burns in it underneath the front driver's side floor mat. I mean, it wasn't anywhere we couldn't see it, but some of the things had ripped out, and I'm like, you know what, let's buy fresh. Plus the smell and stuff from over the years. So, let's start all new. So this is brand new. I'm going to rip it out and see how it looks once we get it in the car. Okay, so I'm currently working on the seats right now. Passenger side, I reused the actual swivel mount from the Bride setup, so I could not use that with the sliding rails. The reason I couldn't is the seat sat too high for my liking. So I bowled the seat directly to this base. So unfortunately, it won't slide back and forth. Good for me is it sits up just far enough. So I'm doing the passenger side right now. I have the swivel mount. Wiring's already done. I just had to drill an extra hole here. The front ones worked out perfect, and I have bigger bolts coming here. Those bolts, the bolt heads are too small for my liking. I'm afraid they would rip through eventually. And the reason I did this style head is because it sits so close to the carpet. I didn't want to chance it. These are Titan mounts, as you can see. I love that I have like a little loop there too, which is cool. So yeah, let's get these in the car so I can show you how they sit. All right. I don't have the engine harness yet. I should have it here soon, but I'm going to go ahead and drop this engine in here. So just make sure there's nothing in the way. My dad's actually going to come down here and help me drop this in. And yeah, it's going to make me feel more excited to see the engine back in the car, free up even more room, and put the transmission on from Grandis Racing here, get the McLeod clutch in, get all the other little dumb things in. Just freeing up so much room. This makes me so happy to get all this crap out of the way. As I say that because I do this to myself, but I digress. Let's get this hog in there. Okay, so as you can see, the engine is in. Everything fits nicely. I'm very, 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 very happy. It's awesome to see it in there. I'm like, I think it just fits so nice. And now not having power steering, this just frees up all this room. Just like over here, there's no tank anymore. So like my hand can fit through here. Just like down here too, because I went to a Flaming River rack, that frees up so much room. This makes it a lot easier to work on. Because it's not if I need to work on the car, I know I will, and it just makes a lot of life that much easier when that time comes. So, yeah, this just gets me 10 times more pumped. So now I need to put the dump tubes on for the exhaust and stuff here, but before I can put those on, I need to get the engine tilted back where it needs to be and all that good stuff, and then I can start putting the exhaust on, and I can start doing a lot. This is awesome. So I'm going ahead and putting Old Faithful in. I've had this clutch since 2019 now. I've got like 20-some thousand miles on it. You know, I was definitely overpowering, but now going down to a smaller turbo, it shouldn't be as bad. But yeah, just torqued everything down. You can see it's definitely had a hard life. I always mark the numbers here. So just finished torquing that down. It goes up to 70 foot-pounds. You do 35 and then 70. Torquing those ARP bolts down. From here now, I need to put on all the plates and I need to get the alignment tool so everything goes in nice and straight. But yeah, that's the one thing that's going to be crusty. Same with the transmission, which I'll clean up here, but everything else is pretty much new, which makes me happy. So here's the two pipes I needed in here. It's pipes or AC lines. These are brand new. I had called like a year ago and they were discontinued, so I don't know what happened, but here's the one hard line, there's the part number, and here's the other big suction tube, which that is part number right. Oops, make sure it's not right there. These two go right behind here, which I got to pull this out now. It's a little annoying, but it's my own fault. I got to go right here and here, so I got to unbolt that there, and I'm hoping I can just loosen this up a skosh and go from there. It just was a lot easier when this stuff wasn't in there, but I digress. It is what it is. So yeah, let's loosen up, see if I can just weasel them in there possible. And I need to start saying I digress more. I saw my buddy Colt Martin gave me shit for it, so I digress. And Jim McLaughlin, I digress. What else I wanted to show you guys? I'm trying to think here real quick. I can't think of it. Engine's in. I need to work around this intercooler pipe. So this was meant for the old intake manifold. I'm trying to think of what I need to do here. I just don't want to have to make a whole new one, but it looks like I'm going to have to, because if not, it's just going to be chopped and screwed, just like the song, and it's just not going to fit properly. I have to work on that. All right, guys, so a lot has happened, so I apologize, but I did get the hatchback, and I wanted to show you a bunch of part numbers here before I forget. So first things first, third brake light. I buy brand new when it comes to this, just because, I don't know. These have LED lights in it, and they do go bad. So there is the part number right there. And then my kids are getting yelled at by my wife because they're on their bike. But there is the Toyota emblem for the rear, part number. Here's the Toyota for the back, part number. And then the Supra Turbo part in part number. And I'll show you guys how I put that on here then. So this has a little green backing on it. It has sticking tape. So let me just pull this sticky tape off. Let me pull it off. Sorry, my kids are having fun right now. It has adhesive tape, and it has these little alignment pins, which is nice. So I've already wiped this off, and should just push on. Should. Ooh, much better. Much, much better. So many things have happened. I've jumped around so much, but wanted to show you this. I had to paint the bottom side of this because this was a piece that I had to reuse again. I must have nicked the paint there. I even scuffed this. This is SEM black, trim black that I used. You see some of the tape left over there. So yeah, I must have nicked it there somehow, and I even scuffed this, so that shouldn't have came off that easily. So I have to check into that, maybe see why that happened. But I wanted to show you guys some stuff for putting this on because these part numbers are a bit weird. So these three go into the body here. So on the back side of this, which show that, it has these little white clips here. This one I was missing, so I just ordered that one. I had that one there and that, and then it uses screws on the bottom in 3 spots. But to clip it in, it doesn't have like traditional like push in. So for that little white clip, all right, the one that was missing there is that part number. And then for in the body where those white clips go into is this little black guy here. It has like a little cushion on the back. It is that part number. And then on the back side of this, it goes into these little holes here and uses this black clip, which is this part number right here. But then on top of that, you also need, see if I have it, is it in this one? I don't know if they're in here. This guy here, these little clear retainer things, you have to push those into the back of the body first. And then this is the part number for that, 90467090053. Just wanted to at least show you guys that. So you have everything. This one is always the hardest to find part numbers for the stupid thing, so I wanted to document it. But there's so much more you can see. A lot has happened. Doors are on, roofs on, interiors all in. I have to go over a lot with you, but wanted to at least show that so I don't forget that step. And just to show where that goes, those black clips go right here and here and here, and then the little clear retainers just pop in there, and then there's plastic push pins after you put the piece on, just plop over top, and that's it. This just literally clicks in. Screws are on the bottom, but that in the back, that's all it holds on. I know it's crazy, right? But that's all it is. I've showed this in other videos, but I want to go ahead and pull them out here, along with the stuff I have here on the ground already. These are the top door trims. So this is the passenger side. So this is the passenger side part number. So we'll just use that one so it's a little bit easier to see. This is the driver's side. I apologize. This is the driver's side. This is the passenger side. Now for these, I'm not sure which is which. I'm going to be honest here. So you guys can figure that out. But if you need both sides anyways, it won't matter. But there's the door cover. There's the other door cover. These go inside some plastics. You don't have to get these guys. I mean, I'm just being super extra. I did it on the other car just because they were so tore up over the years from people getting back behind it, this and that. I'm like, you know, if they're still available, they were cheap, might as well get them. This is the door seals then. So there's the part number for that. And then the part number for the other side. Again, I'm not sure which side is which. I think you guys will be able to figure it out. But if you're going to buy one side, I assume you're going to buy both, so it doesn't really matter. But there's the part numbers. Wanted to show that. And again, those top trim pieces there go up here, and they just kind of slide in. And then there's 2 little bolts here, and there's one right there. And that's it. That's all it holds it in. And it's just like, I guess, like the window wiper. So as the window comes up down, keep water, for the most part, from going inside. Mine weren't actually that bad on this car, but you might as well get new. Okay, I'm also assembling the mirrors here, and this is where it gets tricky. So big shout out to Paul here. So I got most of it assembled, but when it came down to this part right here, putting that spring and that retainer in, these retainers you have to cut out. They're not designed to really come apart like this, right? There's a one and done. You get these off of Amazon, which was these ones right here. Sorry, it's 10 pieces. M16 star locking washer. That's the part number and all that stuff too. And this worked perfect. Got it off Amazon. It came in a 10 pack, which is good because I was like, that one there looks like it needs to come down just a smidge more. So if I set this up here, see if I can get that. See how it's kind of cockeyed still? Probably needs to come down just a smidge more. But this is just realistically for the safety. Like if you cock the mirrors and whatever. So as long as you really don't do it all the time, it should be fine. I'm just keeping an eye on it. There's like a little ledge in there. So once you get it pulled down so far, it like locks in. But it takes a ton of pressure. So Paul had said, like, what he did was took a long bowl like this. This one wasn't the right length, so I stacked a bunch of washers below it, and then took it, put it up like that, push it up through, and then I needed something that would fit just around the diameter. So where this locks onto that piece of metal, I found these. I've had a bunch of these from Harbor Freight or Old Hobo Freight here, of these crush washers in the biggest size, which was, I think the 5/8 is the biggest it goes to in this, or did I have some extras in this one? Yeah, 5/8 was the biggest size. And I stacked 4 of those, and it worked perfect. I think a 5th one is probably what I'm going to need, though, to get it down just a skosh more so it locks in a little bit better, but that's it. Then after that, you just put the mirrors back together like you saw in my previous videos, but that was the only thing I couldn't show here. I was like, how do I get this in? Big shout out to Paul. That was driving me nuts, and it worked perfect, and now I have extras of these, and these are going in the trash bin because, yeah. So next up is putting the wiring back in and putting the mirrors back in. Getting that time of the year here too, the fog this morning. Spooky. It's my favorite time of year. I love fall. No car here right now. The GS300 build's going on. That's why I got a customer engine here that I just got done. It's Alex at Absolute Driven Performance. Head and short block, Powerhouse Racing, twin gate V-band cast manifold setup with their new water pipe in the bottom, Powerhouse Racing covers. I just got to get waiting for a few parts. So I just finished this up. Also, another thing I do now, you guys, it's like my new thing. I always powder coat the upper pans. You gotta seal the red marks on the bolts. I mark everything so I know it's been touched, but that's not what we're here for today. We're back to the car here. I found a couple issues that for resolved now. I thought the battery was going bad and actually ended up being these switches, which I need to find a high-end version of the switches. I do buy them from Amazon. I can't lie. I actually just bought a 3-pack just to have some extra here, but I need to find the high-end version of them because it's just something you don't want to fail. So I drilled and tapped on the side of the battery bracket there, just to use a really short bolt so I can mount those to the side. I used to mount them down low and I think it's better up top. So I'm trying to find out a better version of these if someone knows about them. Because we couldn't get the glass to go up and down. I thought the switches were bad. Ended up just being something with that wasn't giving enough juice and it wouldn't allow it. All right, so now it's time that the windows and all that stuff is back in. My buddy Rob, who's been helping me build this stuff. You guys got to check out his car. I'm going to leave his Instagram here. He is restoring a Chevrolet SS truck that is so badass. I should say SUV. It is just badass. He's got the whole frame restored. It's like we're bad influences on each other. I see what he does. He does what I do. It's just bad. The thing is going to be the cleanest SS, I guess I would think, in the country, because I don't know anyone that's done a restoration like that. You guys have to check it out. It's a badass car. He's got a lot of time into it. But we got to put the glass can say where it is, but I need to pull the door handle and the one piece off because I got these brand new plastics. These are what go in there. It's just literally plastic. You don't have to do this stuff again, guys. I just did it. But again, there's the part number. I think I might have gone over this already, but there's the one part number. That's for the driver's side door. This is for the passenger side door here. And to get it on properly, this is the part that stinks. You need to take these off and this off. That all goes behind it. I think even, I have to look on her car. I have to look exactly. Because this doesn't need to come off, but this does, I believe. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure this bolts through it. This does not, I don't think. I'll have to look at some pictures online here to double check. And I believe just this bolts through. I don't think this whole thing does. I believe just the door handle does. But I am going to go check that here and see how it's supposed to go on. Next thing you got to do is put this butyl tape on. So this is quarter, I think, isn't it? Yeah, they call it round bead, but this is, just kind of like butyl. Quarter is even too thick, to be honest. So it says quarter there. Really should got like an eighth, because I'm even stretching it out here. And even an eighth is probably, because you just need just a very thin layer and you can roll it on then. So an eighth is all you really need, and you can even stretch it, and which is kind of what I did here. You see, I ran it around, go around. Now I need to pull these 3 off and these 3 off. I already got pictures to make sure to clarify on that. So those need to come back out. And then I push that up on with the butyl. And then after you're done, those just make their own holes. So wherever you get it at, make sure you have it exactly how you want it. Make sure it's laying right. And then you go through it. And then the speakers also will go through. I put new clips in here, left that one in, and I got to put one there, I guess, yet. I want to put new clips in because the speakers weren't staying in properly. So I'm hoping that holds it a little bit nicer. We will see. But, yeah, so let's go ahead and get this on. And now she is back on. So one thing I wanted to talk about too, guys, the company Junsi, who has made these dash panels, which are an exact replication. He also makes some of the back pieces here. So these panels right here are new, reproductions that he's made, and you can unequivocally not tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between that and OEM piece. They're that perfect. Down to little nuances of like having the little Velcro pieces there. Underneath of it, even the plastics, it's an exact replica. And he's starting to make all the plastics for inside. He's just now coming out with the door cards, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. Now, It is just the door card. So you have the door card, and then I have the brand new speaker covers over there. So I'm going to get their door cards here, put their new speaker covers in that, because I was about to pop these out, but I'm like, I'll leave these in because I know that I want to put those in a new one. It does not include the armrest. It's just the door card. So not the armrest, not any of this stuff here, or this plastic switches. It's just the door card. Just remember that, because I know people are going to order and be like, what? Where's this at? I think this is on the list, but this is a lot more of a pain in the butt, he said. Unfortunately, you used to be able to buy these still, but Toyota's now discontinued them, which kind of sucks. But one other thing I want to show you guys, just listen to this door. My buddy Rob did such a good job. Listen. I mean, usually when you take a car apart, it closes so nice. I'm like ecstatic how nice this all is. Now, this car is lined up pretty good. We might adjust it a little bit, but the lineup there is pretty nice. We were smart enough not to take the actual hinges off the body. Some people are like, well, they're, paint behind it. Don't care. It's not worth trying to fiddle fuck around trying to get these to line up. Sorry for the language. It's just not worth it. So now I got to go over there and do that door yet. And, get this all finished up. All right. So in this box is the next big thing. And, it's the new wire harness, and I'll explain a little bit later. But this is from Island Boys, which everyone has seen here lately. And oh man, he even laminated it, boy. So come with the pinout, and he even laminated this shit. That is, bro, that is going way above and beyond. That's cool. That's very, very cool. If the entire harness fits in this tiny little box, this is wild to me. So got here in a couple days because we're based out of Florida, but this is going to be everything too. So it's the entire engine harness here. Let me put the camera down and get this laid out actually. All right, so here is the new Island Boys wiring harness. It came in that little box. I'm used to a bigger box because the Tesla wire and everything is so nice and tight. Like, this is so tiny, and it has all this extra in it. He also made me my drive-by wire pedal. I asked him to make the the coils on a separate harness. Just makes it easier for removal. I asked him to make this harness here too, which goes over to the drive-by wire pedal. And then I had him ask to leave like 3 wires over here. And this is for setup. So I can do my rolling anti-lag and things. And I just told him like, hey, I'll pin it, do whatever. Don't worry about it. So you're not, screwing around. You don't have to worry about it. Just makes it a little bit easier on him. But yeah, this is, pretty cool. And what is some of this stuff here? This is the trans. I wanted the trans on a separate harness. And the reason I wanted this is because getting these connectors off up top can be a pain in the butt. So with these all plugged in, zip tied away. And then when I have to remove the trans, I just undo one connector, bloop. It's really easy to get to this where it's positioned at. Makes my life easy. Again, the other one is for the drive-by-wire pedal, and that just comes over to the other side. This is our main harness here, so we have our main connectors. The one thing you'll notice is there's no 25 amp, and I told him not to because I have everything dedicated on the Kaizen harness, so either headlights, I think headlights is pretty much all that's being used for now, actually for 25 amp. 2 of them are being used for my brushless fuel pumps, and another 25 amp, I forget what I'm using the other 25 amp for. I think I actually freed one up now, because before the other 25 amp was used for 12 volt power for the injectors and the coils. And now I switched those to 8 amps just because you don't need to use 25 amp for those. They're pulling 3 to 4 amps. So I told them to use 8 amps because 25 amp is more crucial for me. I can use it for something else versus the little 8 amps. So that's the only thing that's not built into the harness because it wasn't necessary. So those are all built in. The other thing you'll notice is a ton of flying leads here. I asked them to put as many as possible onto a flying lead. So auxiliary connectors. So auxiliary 1. Here's auxiliary, that's auxiliary 1, this is auxiliary 2. And then you'll see other things. So APP sensor, this is for the drive-by wire. This here is for the BTI gauge. This here is just the CAN bus connector for the BTI. And this is the ABS sensors. I'm not sure. So the ground's not built into it. I'll have to ask about that because it'll need ground also. It's the only thing I just noticed. It doesn't have the ground built into it. I have to look into that. Over here, these are what is this here? Auxiliary connector number 3. Tons, and this gets into the factory connectors now here, another one. And then it comes, this is my first time having a quick disconnect. The reason I want to do it, one, is it makes it a lot easier, looks cleaner. If I do need to remove it, one just giant connector. Since I didn't do a 12 injector setup, yes, I know I could do a 12 injector. I like staying 6, keeps it simple. We were able to get away with using one connector. So we don't have 2 connectors up top, which makes my life a little bit easier. And then typical up here, it has everything else built into it here. So we got crankcase pressure, AC, brake pressure. Oh, that's right, because I was actually going to run a brake pressure switch, line lock coming the whole way up and over. I'm not using it yet, but might need it to. Starter motor, the ground goes to the head, lambda, of course, map sensor, injector, fuel pressure, the connector here. This goes into your coil harness. There's a bunch of little ones here. Again, most of these are injectors. So move this over some. So we come down this way, more injector stuff. This is for oil pressure and temp. We've got more injector stuff. VVTi solenoid. I do not have VVTi, but I told him if I want to switch the head, go ahead and build it in the harness. Rather have it now than later, not later. Fan trigger, which only need one wire because they're brushless fans. Drive-by-wire motor. We have the air temp. Sweet. And then, what is this? Boost valve. This is our crank sensor. Alternator motor, which I don't need this, but I told him to add it in case I want to switch back to a regular triggered alternator motor. Coolant temp and pressure. And then this temp gauge that goes to factory. So that takes care of that. That's pretty much all of it, guys. Again, it's from Island Boys. Can't thank him enough. He got this done pretty darn quick, even though he pushed it off, or I should say he pushed it off. We were working with another customer, getting their stuff done. I use this on a couple other customer cars now. I'm very, very happy. Pretty cool. He puts the part number on it, serial number on it for you there. So if you ever need to go back, you can see it there, see if it'll focus. So really excited. Now it's time to get in the car. Again, this is for a Nexus R5. He also included all the extra connectors. I actually got my Deutsch connector kit out, and he includes the pins. So like stuff, I was like, cool, I'll just, I got my own stuff. He included it all. I was like, dang, this is cool. He already sent me the Excel spreadsheet because I'm going it line by line on the Excel spreadsheet and yellowing it out as I go through it to update the tune file. But most of it lines up with what my old harness was, how I had it already filled out and everything. Now there's a couple things I added and changed that I told him to repin, so that's why I'm going through it line by line. So yeah, let's go ahead and at least get this piece in, this big honking thing here, and go from there. All right, so there's so much that happened, and I'm going to talk about more of it in the next video to give you guys more of an update. The car sitting here is not great. I want to get the car outside. The car does run, does everything. Want to get it down to the dyno at VagWorks. That name always cracks me up. I know it's Volkswagen Auto Group, but just VagWorks cracks me up. Anyways, use their dyno, do all that good stuff, but the harness is in, seats are in, the car runs and drives, headlights, everything. The only thing I don't have is my Volano wheels up front. They're not able to match the rear for some reason, so I'm using the front wheels off the auto car till it's all done. One other thing, which I'll discuss when I do the electric power steering video, is you need a controller that outputs a 5-volt analog signal. So you have to take a digital pulse output, connect it to this little connector, and it outputs it to a 0 to 5 volt range. You have to also do it for like Evo's required in some other vehicles. You need to take this off because I just got my tint done yesterday. Come on, get off there. They put this on so people like me aren't dumb and hit the button by accident. But yeah, just got this thing tinted up, which actually doesn't look, that's 15%. Actually doesn't look that dark, but it is. These seats are amazing. I wish I could get them a little bit lower. I haven't fixed to that Titan base. My little legs are a little too short. I have really stubby legs. I have a long torso with little legs. So it's not ideal. I wish I could scoot up an inch or so. I'm only 5'9", but I think if you're a normal 5'9", it'd be fine. I'm just tiny. I got little legs. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. No crazy outro, nothing, because I want to get into the next video where we're going over, the car running, driving, going over the other aspects and more of the cool stuff that we're doing with the car. So on that note, guys, love y'all. Appreciate all the support. If you need some work done, I got an Aristo here right now. Hit me up and I'll get your car built to pure function. Later, guys. Peace.